Hey, good morning, guys. Mike here. Appreciate everybody being here. Really like that I've got a lot of people really following me and they're active in the community with comments and stuff. Today I'm going to talk about something that happened after I lost the weight, after I lost the 36 pounds, after I gained it all in my gut. I had a flat stomach and going up, 5, 6 months. Then I decided to see if I could get even tighter, get down to a good six-pack, get really lean. And that's kind of what this is about, basically about how I kept my energy and motivation while fasting, strength training, and doing cardio. I had never done fasting before, and I started reading about it mainly because of the health benefits. But I incorporated it into this little program that I came up with, and I'm gonna get into it. This is part of the Don't Let the Old Man In series. This is Mike Norris. If you like the video, give it a like. If you want to share it with people, of course, you can always share it with people. But fasting, lifting, and cardio can all be a triple threat. Or a recipe for burnout. You got to be careful. I learned this. So here's exactly how I kept my energy high, my motivation steady. Now, I was taking a fasting course. I decided to take a fasting course. And during this time, we were actually fasting. And I'm going to get into kind of how we did things. You're going to learn about kind of like my daily schedule, my fueling, eating strategy, recovery tips, stuff like that. So why did I want to fast? Actually, I'd already lost the weight. I already had a little six-pack, but I wanted to do a recomposition of my body. I wanted it to get really leaner. And I wanted to improve my health. At that time, I was 62 or so. Yeah, that would have been about right, about 61 and a half to 62 when I decided to recomp my body. And I read all the health benefits of fasting. I'd heard a little bit, but I never knew the real benefits of fasting the longer you fast. And so I wanted to do that, and I didn't want to lose any muscle. I wanted to get leaner, get a six-pack, but I didn't want to lose any muscle. I wanted to keep the muscle I had, if anything, build a little bit. What I did, I had a joint friendly. I always have to do joint friendly because I've had elbow problems. I had serious elbow problems before I lost the weight. So everything I pretty much do is going to benefit my joints. Fasting protocol I used. Mainly, we used a 16 and 8. That meant you go 16 hours without food and you eat in an 8-hour time window. And at first I was like everybody else. I was like, man, I don't know if I can do that. But it turned out they start you off 12 hours. They tell you go 12 hours without eating. That's pretty easy when you think about it. You're into bed, most people, 7, 8, 9 hours. You don't eat for a couple hours before you go to bed, and you don't eat for a couple hours after you get up. You got your 12 hours. 12 and 12 is the best way to start. It's the easiest way to start. And they told us in the class to only fast twice a week. Just fast twice a week. Well, or you could do 3 times if you wanted to. Well, I was basically fasting, day off, fasting, day off, fasting, day off. It's pretty much the way that I did it. A big thing is people's like, well, what can I have to eat? You don't eat. What you can have, and this works, and it helps keep your hunger pains down. Black coffee, nothing in it. You gotta have black coffee because we don't want to consume any calories. Water, green tea, mineral water, green tea. You can get the little colorings that you put in water for people that don't like the taste of water, which is crazy. You could have some like the electrolytes that don't have any calories, sodium, magnesium, stuff like that. And I would drink black coffee several times a day, or I would have green teas after I came back from a workout. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my workouts next and how I arrange the food and everything. But the key is in your eating window, you think you're going to be hungry that first meal and stuff yourself. No, you can't. You can't eat much food and you'll be full. And then a couple hours later, you're hungry again. And so you eat a couple small meals. Um, and you want to adjust your calories so that whatever time you work out, you're getting some good protein, good calories in your body, pretty soon after you work out. And then I basically had 2 meals and then another meal 2 or 3 hours later. And then I had like a snack or something like that, a good high protein snack. What I figured out, I thought there's no way you can go work out after not having food for 10 or 12 hours, but you can. I started going to the gym first thing in the morning. I would get up and I would do the walk. And sometimes I'd walk before the sun come up. Sometimes I wouldn't. And then I'd walk onto the gym and it would be a total of around, it's a mile to the gym, 20, 25, 30-minute walk. Then I'd walk back from the gym. That was another mile. I'd be in the gym. I wasn't working out really long periods of time that time. I'd try to get out within less than an hour, normally around 30 to 45 minutes. I was doing workouts so that I could get out, not be there too long. And there's actually, I would come home and normally I'd have my boiled eggs, have turkey bacon, I'd have different things. I even started eating some meat for breakfast to get an extra protein, some beef or something like that. And then like I said, you think you want a lot to eat, but you don't. Also, there's right next to the gym when I was lived in Mexico was a place that had a lot of healthy food, and they had a lot of salads and sandwiches. I would get salad. Sometimes after I got through at the gym, it'd be like 11 o'clock. I would have a salad or something, because normally I was getting up walking around 7 for the sun to come up. And then I would go into the gym, work and be at the gym for so. Sometimes I would go home and eat. Sometimes I didn't want to eat right afterwards. If I didn't want to eat right afterwards, I wouldn't go to that little shop next door to get anything to eat. I'd go home. And then I'd fix my eggs and stuff, and I'd eat somewhere between 10 and 12. Normally, I was doing a 16 and 8, by the way. I did the 12 and 12 for a few days, and I pretty quickly advanced after like 2 weeks to 16 and 8. And the 16 and 8, I'm going to bed around 11, 12, but after like 9 o'clock, I wasn't eating anything. I would try not to eat anything after like 8, actually. I pushed it back a little bit. And then, because I didn't sleep that many hours then, I was sleeping like 6, 7 hours. And then, after I got up in the mornings, of course, I didn't eat again. I didn't eat till I had that first meal around 11 o'clock or so. But anyway, I just made it 16 hours. Yeah, I had my first meal, and then I was normally through eating around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, something like that. That may have been a snack or something. Sometimes I know I ate at like 11, and then maybe again at 1, and then like 5, and I didn't eat. I didn't eat anything else. But you do get used to it. My training, like I said, was quicker workouts. I wasn't staying in there long periods of time. I was basically doing upper body, lower body, and I was working out 4 days a week. At that time, I may have went for 5th day every now and then just to do some ab work and maybe some arms, something like that. I was always doing, 8 to 12 reps pretty much. Might do a warm-up set, 15 reps or something, and then I would do about maybe 1 or 2 warm-up sets and then 3 workout sets. And so I would just, get in and get out. And it was real important after I work out. First thing I do, I forgot, as I had a protein shake at the gym. I'd get a protein shake, and I would have them put creatine in my shake. So I would have that protein shake. And a lot of times at night, that last thing I had when I was talking about a snack, 8 o'clock or something, would be another protein shake. So I would that was the very first thing after I worked out. I forgot about that. After I worked out, I always got a protein shake. So I got some calories in. My 16 hours had already passed. If the 16 hours had not passed, I made a protein shake at the house. A lot of times when I got through at the gym, depending on what time I got there, what time I was leaving, my 16 hours would be up, so I'd go ahead and have my protein shake. If I didn't, I would just make one at the house. So that's pretty much how that went. Cardio was basically the walking. I'll tell you what I did do back then. Back then on a treadmill, I did a lot of incline work on a treadmill. I would walk on a treadmill sometimes, do an incline, do a little extra. I was even doing some sprinting on the treadmill. I mean, I was going really fast, maybe 30-second sprint and then a minute or two rest. And these would just be little quick sessions, maybe 10 minutes. I might walk a really steep incline. I mean, as high as it would go, like at 15 for 4 or 5 minutes. There were not long sessions on the treadmill because I'd already walked to the gym. I'd done a workout. I'm walking back another mile. And by this time, sometimes I'd be hungry, sometimes I wouldn't. But I didn't, the main thing was the walking. I would do that, and it really helped because I was definitely getting in 10,000 steps a day. I was getting in more than 10,000 steps because a lot of times after I'd eaten stuff, we had a track at the high school there, and I would just go walk at the track, or I'd go to the beach and walk on the beach. I had different places I could walk. Now, my first meal was heavy protein, at least 30 grams, 40 grams of protein. It would be, and I would have some nuts and stuff. Yep, I had I had yogurt, Greek yogurt that I would eat, and I had nuts that I would put in it to give me some healthy fats, things like that. After my post lift, like I said, I always had my protein shake with my whey protein, my creatine. At first I didn't have collagen, but I started adding the collagen peptide to it after a few weeks. That was something that we talked about in the class, and I started adding the collagen peptide to it. Water. You're going to drink a lot of water. You've got to drink a lot of water, guys, when you're doing this. Keep you hydrated. I had sea salt. I still use that same brand. I got it. As a matter of fact, I put some salt. I put some in my water this morning with my lemon. And now I'm adding some ginger. This is just something I'm doing now. I bought some ginger last night. I'm gonna start adding that to my little water mix in the mornings. As far as other supplements, I didn't really have any other supplements back then other than the protein and the creatine, and I added the collagen. And that was about it at that time, was the only supplements I had. And I was drinking tons of water, and I was drinking black coffee, and I would drink green tea at night. Green tea is just great for calming you down. It helps with the hunger pain, stuff like that. But I had coffee before I left in the morning. I had a coffee before I went for my walk. No matter what time I got up, I would fix coffee first, and I had me a container of coffee, and I'd go for a walk. When I went to walking to the gym, or if I was going down to the sunset, to the sunrise, to the beach, or whatever, I would have that coffee. But the big habit that I started was kind of the walk in the morning. And I'm not a real woo-woo guy, but I would go sit at the beach 5 minutes, do a quick little 5-minute meditation or something when the sun was coming up. That's a big thing in Mexico. Everybody's at the beach meditating, or they might be sleeping, I don't know, sitting there. But I got into the habit of doing that, getting that sun, that vitamin D first thing in the morning when the sun came up. I did that probably 3 to 4 days a week. Some days, like I say, I just walked straight to the gym. So I did that, and I was kind of ready for go and work out, and with no food for by that point, generally when I went to the gym, I was around the 12, 14 hour mark, depending on when I went to the gym, with no food. And so at first I thought it would be a problem, but it was not a problem. I thought I'd be weak or something. I was not. So my wins were getting 10,000 steps a day while I was doing this. A lot of days back then I'd be 14, 15,000 steps. I weighed myself daily. Matter of fact, when this was over, I was down to I started at 216 way back before I lost the weight. I was 216, and then in the month I went down to about 181. I lost from 216 to 181 in a month. Yeah, I know it's a lot, but I lost a lot of money. Lost a lot of weight in that month. I had a flat stomach, a little bit of a six-pack coming through, but then after I did this recomp, I was down to 176. I was really lean. I had a really sharp six-pack. But yeah, I didn't really measure my waist or anything like that. I just kept up with my steps. I knew what I was doing. I don't write everything I'm doing in my little tracker in my workout book. I'll just say legs or chest or shoulders. I'm just that's all I do. That's all I write down to keep up with what I'm doing. And I just, while I'm walking, I'm always listening to a podcast. Back then I was listening to tons of fitness podcasts, because this is when I had started taking on clients. Well, after I lost the weight, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I could help people lose weight. And so by the time I started this fasting and recomp workout, it's been, what, a year and a half or so since I started losing the weight. I started taking on clients. And so I would listen to podcasts from different people that I liked. I'd listen to fasting podcasts as well as fitness podcasts. I would listen to those two things. And I still listen to podcasts every day when I walk now. So the big thing is your fasting window. Start with a 12 and 12, and then go to 14 and 12. Work your way up to 16 hours without food. You don't have to rush, nothing like that. You will lose weight, but my main focus was not losing weight. It was with the health benefits of the fasting. And I'm going to go deep into the fasting, because fasting is a deep subject. Believe me, there's all kind of fasting routines, and I'm going to go into some of them and some of the advanced stuff that I tried with some of my obese clients and stuff later on down the road. Heavy protein focus, heavy protein. I was doing smart lifting. I wasn't doing things to hurt my joints, and I was doing quick workouts, what I call quick workouts, 30, 45 minutes. Those are quick workouts, less than an hour. Workouts quick to me. I had easy cardio, walking, and did, except for a couple days a week when I'd get on a treadmill and do the hills, or I did a little HIIT training sprints I would do, but it was short. Those were like 10 minutes. They were not very long. My recovery was really good. I was eating plenty of food during that 8-hour window. I was eating plenty of food. I wasn't really worried about calories or anything like that, counting calories, nothing like that. I kind of knew what I was doing, and I was eating high protein, and I would have another protein shake at night, like most nights before I went to bed. So like I say, start with 12 with 12, and maybe 2 days a week you're doing, according to the condition you're in, 2 days a week doing some lifting or some kind of resistance training, a daily walk, and you're good to go. Of course, I was doing 2 to sometimes 3 daily walks. So let me know, what's your biggest struggle right now? You think it's energy, hunger, motivation? What would be your biggest struggle with this? Drop it below, put it in the comments, and I'll answer any questions you have the best I can. And I appreciate you being here. This is Mike. Give the channel a like, share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.